All right. Today's class, we have our Facebook ads. Before we get started, I'm going to put our email in the chat below for you. And if you have any questions about today's class or about Command in general, please feel free to reach out to us at support@scottleroymarketing.com, and we should be able to answer your questions. Now, like I said, today's class is going to be about Facebook ads. Today we are going to learn how to utilize our social media ads within our KW command, as well as how to connect and link them as well. So first we're going to go ahead and sign in to agent.kw.com using our KW username and password. We typically like to say that the Google Chrome browser is the best browser to use when navigating the command platforms, as well as the Firefox browser. So if you ever run into any issues within KW command, we first stress to check your browser just to make sure that we're using one of these two to kind of help navigate and negate any issues that may arise. So I'm going to sign in here. And once I get loaded on to this next page here, you'll see that this is our command homepage. And before we actually jump into creating our social ads, we're going to want to first make sure that everything is set up accordingly for us. So we're going to go ahead and click on our name on the top right-hand corner here. And we're going to make our way down to settings. We'll give that a click there. And as this is loading up, if you guys have any questions at all during this training, please feel free to use the chat box down below. I'll do my best to stop along the way and help answer any questions you may have. So once we are loaded into our settings page of command, you may have some connections within your Facebook as well as your Twitter. Now, you see I have my Facebook kind of connected, but if you do not have these sections connected yet, they should be underneath the title social right here. Now, we see that we do have two Facebooks. And if we scroll down a little bit more, you do see that we do have two Twitters as well. Now, we are going to want to connect both of these because they serve two different functions. Your post scheduling here, this is what will allow you to create a number of different marketing material and then schedule them out to look like you are always posting online. So this is a great way. This is a great way to be able to always have that social media presence. And if you're ever wondering how any kind of bigger companies are able to always post online, chances are they're using something similar to this post scheduling right here. Now, post scheduling is free, and the post scheduling goes to your internal group. So people who have already liked your page, who already know about you, who are already connected with your business page. Now, your Facebook Ads Manager, this will allow you to set up a payment method and create ads for leads. So this will be individuals who do not quite know about you just yet, who are not connected with you, and this will allow you to be able to send those specific targeted ads out. And this is what we're primarily going to be focusing on here today. Now, as you see down below, our Twitter is very similar. If you have a Twitter account as well that you would like to connect, again, you'd have the post scheduling as well as the ads manager. Now, I'm going to go ahead and just disconnect. Let's see here. I'm going to disconnect my ads manager for a second. There we go. I'm going to treat this like I've not set up any Facebook just yet. So if this is brand new to you, this is what it would look similar to. And it looks like it's underneath the marketing automation. We'll go ahead and click connect account right here. And you should get a pop-up. I'm not quite sure if you saw that, but you should get a pop-up that asks you to sign into your Facebook. Now, if you do not see that pop-up show up for you, chances are you may be in a web browser that may not allow those types of pop-ups. That's typically why we try to stress the Google Chrome or Firefox browser. But one thing, since I already connected my Facebook account previously, it didn't show you the login screen when that pop-up showed. So typically you would enter your personal Facebook username as well as password, and then it should connect here for you, something similar to this. One thing that we would like to note is that even though we are setting up we're connecting our personal Facebook account, we cannot run ads unless we have a business account associated with our personal account. So the way that this kind of works is your personal account is the grandfather of the business account. So it's the owner of the business account. And that's why we need to connect that first. Because once we connect our personal account, if we click on this drop down right here, it should start to populate a number of the different business pages that I'm a part of here. Now, you do have to be at least an admin in your business page for it to show up here. If you're connected with other business pages and you have a little bit less credentials, it may not appear here for you. We're just going to want to go ahead and select the page that we want to start running our ads through. And this should help us when we actually get to our campaigns page. We'll go ahead and hit done right here. And as you see, a title said that our Facebook Ads Manager was in fact connected. Now you see that we have that. Same thing goes for post scheduling. If I click on connect more right here, it'll show you which pages do I want to connect. I can connect my teaching samples and my travel destinations, but since I'm using my business page more for my business, I will keep my hobby page unchecked here. And then so now I have the option to post schedule and to run ads through that business account. Now, we did have a question, how do you get it on Instagram too? So Tiffany, post schedulers unfortunately is not accessible for Instagram. However, your ads manager is. So if we jump over to Facebook, this is actually how we'll go ahead and get our Instagram connected. So if we go over to our Facebook here, this is my personal Facebook page. Welcome. And if we click on the dotted square on the top right-hand corner, right next to your messenger here, we give this a click, you should see a section named Pages right here. Now you should always be able to find that within these dotted squares right here. If we click on Pages, you'll see your two Facebook pages pop up here. So these are our business pages. I'm going to go ahead and click on my KW teaching samples. I'll give that a click right here. And now it opens me up into my business page. Now, again, keep in mind, our Instagram will actually connect onto our Facebook business page instead of our KW command. Once we connect this, it should appear within our KW command. So let's go ahead. We're on our KW teaching samples. Once you're on your business page, on the left-hand side right here, we'll just scroll down. And I believe it's going to be settings right here. And then you should have a section called Instagram. We'll go ahead and click on Instagram right here. And this will be how you connect your Facebook business page to your Instagram. Now, Leanne, of course, I will go ahead and run through this one more time here. I'm just going to click on my Facebook pop-up right here. Here's some real estate agents. And on the top right-hand corner, I'm going to go ahead and click on these dotted square. We'll go ahead and click on pages right here. And then you should have your business page right here. We'll give that a click. We'll scroll over to our left-hand side here. Choose our settings. And it's going to be right here on Instagram. Now, I do not have an Instagram connected on this Facebook page, but once I go ahead and connect it, it should appear within our KW command campaigns. I do actually have a Instagram connected, so I will be able to show you what it will look like. Yes, this is being recorded as well. So at the end of the recording today, it will need a little bit of time to process, but you should be able to find it on our YouTube page. And again, just please feel free to reach out to us. We should be able to send that along to you as long as it is done processing as well. Now that we have our Facebook and I don't have Twitter, but if you have your Twitter connected, it's very similar. It's the same exact process. Once we have that connected, we're just going to want to take a look at one more settings option, and that's going to be in the top left-hand corner, our connect settings, and then our marketing profile. Now, within our marketing profile, if we are sending any ads out through KW command, we just want to make sure that our phone number, our headshot, our email, everything is set up and correct, because once we start to create some ads within KW command, it's going to be a lot easier to use this bits of information to draw from, as opposed to recreating it over and over again. So run through here, just make sure that your market center, your phone number, any kind of social media links that you want, add these right here. At the very bottom, there should be a save button. And once we hit save right here, it will give us a indicator that's saying your marketing profile was successfully saved. And once we're done with that, we're just going to want to double check that use my information to brand my agent site is toggled on to green. Even though it says use my information to brand my agent site, treat this like use my information to brand my marketing, because it does a little bit more than just your agent site here. Now, as we are scrolling through here, it looks like everything is pretty decent for us. We're going to go ahead and make our way over to our KW campaigns. And before I make my way to our KW campaigns, if you want some additional resources on how to set up and connect your Facebook, I have this link here that's labeled Setup for Success Before Launching a Facebook Ad Campaign. It's an article from KWRI that is text instructions to kind of help walk you through what these systems are in place to kind of help you get your Facebook set up. So I'm going to copy this and set it in the chat box down below for you. Feel free to use that, look it over. If you have any questions at all, again, please feel free to reach out. Now we're going to make our way back to our KW command platform. I'm going to go ahead and click on the red KW square on the top left-hand corner. And then I'm going to make our way down to campaigns. And campaigns should look something similar to a megaphone right here. We'll go ahead and give this a click, and it should take us over to our campaigns dashboard. So again, today's class is primarily about Facebook ads. There is a class that goes over our campaigns in greater detail. So please feel free to check that out. Reach out to us. We'll be able to send that your way. But we're going to go ahead and focus more on that Facebook ads portion. And next, when we have all of our systems set up, we're going to go ahead and set up a payment method. So we're going to go ahead and move our cursor all the way up to the top here, right next to Create Campaign. You should see a button that's labeled Payment. We'll go ahead and give that a click, and you should be taken to this page right here. Now, this page right here is divided into two different sections. The top section right here that's blank is where your card payments are going to go. The second portion down below that shows you all of the social media logos, this is going to be where that ad spend is going. So if you have, if you're sending a paid ad through Instagram and Facebook, you'll be able to see what that total ad spend is through both of these down the line. So on with the rest of these right here. We're going to go ahead and set up a payment method, and we can do that by clicking Add Payment Method right here. Right in between the two sections, you should see Add Payment Method. And if we go ahead and give that a click, it should start to populate the incorrect information, but it should give you a pop-up here for you to enter your card info. Once we enter our card information here, it should be saved up top here, and you should be able to see which different types of payment methods you'd like to add. Now, when you set up a payment method, KW command is run off of credits, or Facebook ads are run off of credits. And the way that credits work are you pay into the KW command platform, and the KW command platform runs the ad. And this is really cool because we are the only real estate brokerage that has signed an exclusive agreement with Facebook as well as Google. So what's cool about signing that exclusive agreement with Facebook is that we get to run underneath a huge umbrella of KW. So instead of individually sending out campaigns, which may or may not yield a ton of leads, we're actually underneath an umbrella with a lot larger resource being able to collect, being under that KW section. So the way that it works, we'll put, say, $30 into our ad credits right here, and then we'll run our ads accordingly, whether it be on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. And at any point in time, if you say want to pause, or you don't use all of your credits will come back here to your credit pool to use on future ads. So as we see up here, my remaining credits are $0. But if I were to hover over this question mark right here, you should see pretty much basically an explanation of what I said. These are credits to your account when the spend of a campaign is lower than your total budget. On Facebook or Instagram, we'll use these credits the next time to create a Facebook or Instagram campaign. So pretty cool here to be able to kind of funnel into a number of different sources and avenues, as opposed to going to Facebook.com and then Instagram and then Twitter and so on. So you also have additional information, which is CPLC, CPC, and CPM. No worries, we're gonna get to that here in a minute after we're done creating our ad. So once we set up our payment method, we can go ahead and click on Create Campaign on the top right here. And it should give you 5 options, very similar to if you were to go to your designs and create any kind of marketing designs. We're going to choose the social ad portion right here. And you should be brought up to this page next right here. So right here, we're just going to label our campaign ad name and kind of give it a goal of what the goal is to reach for setting up this ad. So what's my reason for setting up this ad right here? Well, I'm just going to create an event awareness right here. So I have a client appreciation event come Memorial Day. So I'm going to set up a campaign or a social media ad for my event right here. So pretty cool. That's pretty decent. I also have other, but I'll go ahead and stick with the event awareness. And if you have any kind of events that are going on, so I'll have my Memorial Day picnic right here as a client appreciation event. As we are creating a title for this and creating a goal, this is really for us on the back end to know what this campaign is for. So this title, only you are really going to be able to read this title. Your clients or the outward facing population is not going to be able to see this. Next, we have where will you run your campaign? So again, once we connect our Instagram with our Facebook business page, your Instagram should start to pop up right here for you. So here we can actually start to check the Instagram and Facebook. And again, if we have Twitter connected, we can connect that as well. As you see, as I try to click on that, it says this channel is not connected. Do I want to connect it now? If I were to hit yes right here, this would take me back to my settings, just where we were previously, to connect that Twitter. But I'm going to run just on Facebook here today, and I'm going to click on Create Campaign. Once you click on Create Campaign, you're taken to this page right here, where the left-hand side is going to be all of the information that we can fill out about the ad. And the right-hand side is going to be what that ad looks like in real time. So if you're scrolling through Facebook and you see an ad, this is what that ad is actually going to look like. Now, if we focus on the left-hand side here, we have our name and goal. You see that that we can actually change this as well. So if I were to choose like other here or advertise listing, I could also change that accordingly. This call is going to be recorded. So just note that once it's done processing here today, we will put it on our Scott Leroy YouTube page. Next, we have our listing. So you may have to add a listing to advertise within your social here. Now, every so often, this may or may not occur, but most of the time you may have to add a listing, which we can add right here. So if we scroll over to the right-hand side, you'll see that we have a status of active, and then we have a status of only my listing. I'm going to go ahead and change both of these to all statuses and all listings right here. This will help me be able to select a listing, whether it be my listing or a different listing that I want to promote. I should be able to kind of have that availability right here. So I'm just going to select the first one as a example here. And you should have that appear. Now we can also configure the text and the media here. So we can configure the text. The text will automatically pull from the listing. And you can also add a headline and description right here. So instead of having a picnic, let's actually do an open house here. That sounds a little bit more accurate. Chances are, if it was a picnic or a client appreciation event, that would probably be a post schedule because that would be to your internal group of friends. If you don't have a listing, you should be able to choose from any type of listings. Rentals, let's see. I'm not quite sure if they have a rentals, but it's worth it to look up the address and see what you can kind of get away with. Of course, also, this command platform is built for agents by agents. So your ideas really fuel the updates that are being made inside of KW Command. So if you have any great ideas, like Jane, can we also use it for rentals? If you don't find that that we can use that for rentals, if you click on this question mark up at the top here, and then click on post an idea, this should bring you to a page where all of the real estate agents are able to kind of post their ideas, and the developers will be able to view on what has been voted on the most and try to implement that into the KW Command system. So whatever you guys don't see on KW Command that you really wish there were, please come back over here and check. One other thing that's really cool about ideas is they have a filter by status. So you can actually see what's going to be planned or rolled out in the pipeline here. So you may already have an idea that's already in the works of being rolled out into KW Command. Now, it looks like this was just a one sentence for this listing right here. If I wanted to, I can add some additional information. Quiet neighborhood, dog friendly. And so on, right? Again, it will draw from the listing information, but you can also add some additional info as well. So you have up to 250 different characters to add onto your main copy, 25 characters for your headline right here, and again, another 250 for your description, which in a second, once we write it out, you'll see it right below your headline right here. Another thing is social media, right? Since we are on social media, we want to make sure to play with our strengths and our weaknesses, right? So right here on social media, I believe this day and age, there's, it pays to have emojis and images and some sort of additional context to kind of enhance your social media ads. So I'm just going to put, what did I say? Quiet neighborhood, dog friendly. So I'm just going to look up a dog and see if I can find a dog right here. And sure, I can do maybe another tree. There you go. So as you see right here, it starts to kind of enhance that social media ad just a little bit more with having some more emojis and more context. So our headline right here. So since this is a listing that we are advertising, and since we also changed our campaign name to Open House, we can go ahead and use our text to kind of highlight our open house. There we go. So it looks like open house this weekend. I only had one character left, so that's perfectly fine. I'll leave it at that. But within our description, we can have a little bit more context with join us between 10 and 2 p.m. Whoops. 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. For, you know, depending on what type of open house that you'd like to have for an exclusive opportunity to view this listing, for live music and snacks, whatever you would like for your kind of description right here. But the main point is to really focus on what's going to be drawn down here to kind of enhance this again a little bit more. So I'm going to just copy this and I'll paste it right here for us just to kind of make it look like it has a little bit more description. But what I just copied right here is a great indicator for you as you are filling these out. It says descriptions may not show all the instances of your ad. Facebook will dynamically show the description based on their algorithm to improve performance of the ad. So again, if open house this weekend wasn't quite a great algorithm and they decided to change that to open house 5/28, that could be that algorithm at work trying to enhance your social media ad to gather more views. So again, you have these images on the description as well. Sorry, the emojis on the descriptions as well. So there we go. And then we will hit save right here. Next, we have our media right here. So it says our media was configured, but that was really just because we pulled our listing in. But I kind of wanted to add some additional content as well. So as you see right here, I can click on media and it gives me the option to add some more images. I could even add a video here in replace of the image. Or I can have it be like just a single image right here. So a scroll, single image, or video, you have these options. And I can go ahead and select some media right here for a video. Now, what's cool about this is if you have a walkthrough that you've recorded, you can add that right here. If you have some additional listing information, some pictures, things like that, you can add those as well. If you've created a video of really just an intro of who you are and what you're going to be doing this weekend with this open house, you can do that as well. Down below, it gives you some additional information. It says video must be shorter than 10 minutes and smaller than 250 megabytes. I'm going to let you guys know right now that the 250 megabytes may be the hardest to squeeze in between as opposed to the 10 minutes. Supported formats are MP4 and M4V. And then we also have one additional thing right here that says best practices for videos. So it even gives you some ways to really make the most out of every single piece of content that you are creating. It says recorded length 15 seconds or less. Recommended aspect ratios for vertical, full screen, and full screen horizontal. And then make sure to enable sound and captions. So there's a few things in there that I may not have realized that might have been super important. But again, these things are here to really help you maximize your content here. I can also choose those additional images from this listing right here. So let's say if I wanted to click on this one right here, I can view and crop. And then here's where I can kind of be a little bit more strategic on what I want to showcase. There we go. What's cool when you add your own images is depending on how your image is laid out. So you see mine as a square right here. So I kind of have to sacrifice some of my image here. But we also have the opportunity to use a different shape. So instead of our square or 1x1, we also have a wide. So it's like a vertical wide right here. And then we also have just our straight vertical. So again, more of that mobile phone view. And then you have our full portrait right here. So again, here's this for you as well. I'm going to go ahead and go with the wide. And then I'm going to save my image right here. Again, you can zoom in, zoom out, and then you can also adjust as well. So you can rotate like sideways and stuff in case your images weren't snapped at the opportune angle. So now as you see this right here, as I added a second image, so here was that front view image, and then here's that side view image. We'll actually be able to see the scroll effect right here as this is a live kind of view once we publish our ad. So you'll actually be able to just use your finger on your mobile phone and scroll between these two images right here. As we are scrolling down a little bit further here, you have our left and right positions. So this is kind of helpful if you have like a single image. So let me see if I delete this image right here. You have your left and right KW logo. Sometimes it helps just to kind of adjust this around. If your headshot's over here and you don't want your KW logo to cover, you can do that as well. And then of course that include ownership statement. So we can add that right there. And then that gives you that, that Keller, each office is independently owned and operated, and so on. You can even change this and apply it directly onto that ad right there. Next we have well, we're going to save first, and then we're going to go over to our Facebook settings right here. Now, our full disclosure, our Facebook settings, I would say is probably one of the most important sections inside of creating a Facebook ad right here. So right here, it's going to say which account do you want to choose. So if I had Twitter, I could choose my Twitter. If I have Facebook, I can choose Facebook. Since I only have Facebook connected here, this will be the only option I can select. Now, if we click on page right here, you should see that Morgan's KW teaching samples. And how we see that right there is I'm going to open up a new tab here. I'm going to get back to my settings just for a second. And as that is loading up right here, this will be the deciding factor of what shows up inside of your pages. So since we went to our settings and I only chose my Morgan's KW teaching samples, that's the only thing that shows up. Wait for the settings. But if I were to go over here to my ads manager again, my Facebook ads manager, and I click on manage, and then I choose my travel destinations as well, it may give a pop-up asking me to accept. I'll go ahead and hit continue right here. And then this is what should pop up for you. This is the thing that I wanted to show you earlier. This is why those pop-ups are so important, and why we're using the correct browser, because this is how you accept for Facebook to use your ad publishing. So if you don't see this page right here, chances are we still may need to connect your Facebook if you are having issues with sending campaigns out. So now that this is accepted, I can go ahead and I'm going to save this draft. And then we're just going to jump back into that draft, and then we should have the additional option to choose that hobby page. So as we are seeing right here, Morgan Heitzma, that Facebook account. And as we go see right here, well, it looks like I still might need to connect it here within my settings. There we go. So then it should start to populate if I were to refresh this page right here. And again, we typically see that happens from time to time. You know, just having that additional accept when you jump into Facebook, but that should clear up a lot of issues if you were having troubles connecting your Facebook business page. But as you see right here, once I connected my my travel destinations, you'll see that I have that available to choose as well. So now I can publish either on my travel destination page or my KW teaching page. So pretty cool. Now, this destination right here is what I would say probably one of the most important buttons inside of this section to remember. You have two options: Facebook lead generation form or site and landing page. What this means is when an individual clicks on your ad, they will be taken to a different site or landing page of your choosing. Sounds pretty great, but what we're actually going to want to do is use this Facebook lead generation form, because now when somebody clicks on your ad, their information gets brought to your KW database and entered as a lead without you having to do anything. You don't have to take them to a web page for them to sign up. Their information is automatically gathered. So one of the most powerful buttons here inside of your ads, your Facebook ads, is this lead generation form right here. We can always send them to an additional page after, but the lead generation form is what captures them as a lead and puts them into your database. You have another button label right here, so it's learn more. We can have sign up now or apply now. So we can actually switch this to sign up because that kind of reflects a little bit better with the open house this weekend. So looking for people to sign up for the open house. Again, if they want to just learn more, if you want to send them to a page with additional information, you can click on the learn more as well. We have the option to choose a site or landing page. And depending on what ad you are creating, this can go a couple different ways, right? If this is a digital open house that you just want individuals to click on to claim their leads, and then send a YouTube video of that digital open house, you can do that. If you want to have them sign up for a seminar, you can create a social media ad for a seminar, and then send a direct link to your Eventbrite or a landing page for them to sign up for your seminar. There's a lot of different options when it comes to creating these ads. So really, your imagination is the limit. I'm going to just use a YouTube video, one of our Scott Leroy YouTube videos right here, to learn more about this open house. It should load up here for you and then just let you know that it has been actively added. As we scroll down right here, we have audience. And our audience really depends on where you want your ad to be presented at. So if you want your ad to be maybe a geolocation, maybe about 30 miles outside of your current location, you can do that here. If you want to set a custom audience, whether it be targeting a specific audience or targeting your actual database, you can do that. You can do that here. Or if you have any saved audiences from any custom audiences that you've created prior, they should all appear right here in a drop down where you can actually click on and choose depending on what ad you are running at that time. Now we also have another link right here. It says make sure you review the Facebook advertising policies. So another thing is to kind of stay out of Facebook jail. We're just going to want to make sure that we are in compliance when it comes to submitting these ads out. So We have this ads policy right here. It is integrated into your ad creation, but I'm going to put this in the chat box down below for you as well. And this should help you be able to stay inside of compliance. So as we are scrolling down here a little bit more, I'm going to save this. So when somebody clicks on my open house this weekend, it's going to take them to a YouTube page that's really just going to be me introducing the property and letting you know what time to show up for the open house. I'm going to choose an auto audience for this time being, and again, we're going to choose it, about 25 miles outside of our current location. So that seems to be a decent number. Of course, you can raise and lower this to your desired radius, but I'm just going to do 25 here. And then again, Facebook will automatically deliver your ad to an audience based on the behaviors and interests. So again, this will depend on the individuals and what they like and what they don't like. So keep that in mind. If you're asking a colleague to check to see if they see your ad, if they don't have the same behaviors or interests, they may not see that ad come across. I'm going to hit save right here. And then we have our lead settings as well as our duration and budget. So our lead settings is a really cool feature. This basically states as soon as somebody is brought into your database and marked as a lead from this specific ad, what would you like to happen? Would you like there to be an automatic tag that says open house Memorial Day open house? So I know exactly where these individuals came from. Or would you like to just automatically roll them into a smart plan? Or both. So these things are really cool because it helps you to be able to pre-organize your leads as they're coming in real time. So here you can say, anyone who clicks on this ad, I want them to be tagged as open house. And if you don't have it, you can click create new tag and then choose a specific color. So I'm going to choose this one right here, then hit add. And so now every time I type in open house, it should pop open there for me. So I'll always have that open house. And then smart plan, I'd say I'm going to set them up on a bi-weekly neighborhood nurture. So the moment somebody clicks on my open house ad, they're going to be set up on a bi-weekly neighborhood nurture, and they're going to be tagged as open house and sent to my database. So that's pretty much a good majority of setup when these leads come in. I'm going to hit save right here. And then we have our duration and budget. Now, a full disclosure, duration and budget, this is what everybody wants to know, what that sweet spot is. And truthfully, there is no perfect duration or budget. But there are some tips to kind of keep in mind. One of which they have up here, it says, we recommend a 10-day campaign and a budget of $1 per channel per day. Ads may take up to 24 hours to be reviewed by Facebook before becoming active. So two things to note. First thing is when you set up an ad, it may take 24 hours to see that ad start to publish and being run. Okay. The second thing is they also say we recommend 10 days of a campaign, $1 per channel per day. By all means, you can go ahead and try that out. I found that it's probably about 5 or 6 days is a great indicator to see how that specific ad is doing. A great way to know is the algorithms that are typically run are at day 1, you probably won't get anything. Day 2, you may get a little bit. Day 3, you may get a bigger chunk. Day 4, it may start to taper down, and day 5 may start to be a little bit again. So one way to kind of help maximize your ads and maximize your spending is to kind of, you know, be strategic when it comes to your duration and your budget. Try a couple different avenues to see what may or may not work for you, and go about it that way. We also have, you know, per channel per day. So if I were to have selected, say, for example, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, then it probably would have been $3 a day for 10 days, right? Or $3 a day for the 6 days that we were planning. So just keep in mind, how many channels do I have and how much is going out per day per channel. Now, duration and budget, we're going to go ahead and click on our duration right here. It's pretty much a calendar view. And since today is Thursday and it takes that 24 hours to be reviewed, you'll see the first day that may be available is going to be the next business day, or just the next day in general. And then we also have our how long would we like this campaign to be run for. So if it's May 27th, let's just do maybe the 2nd right here. And we have a duration of 6 days. As you see right here, if my budget is $30, you'll see that my daily channel is $5 of spend per day. Now that's that's quite a large chunk. So let's see what we can do to kind of narrow that down. Let's do 15 and see $2.50 per day per channel. That sounds pretty reasonable. So I may stick with this just to see how this ad is being run at the very beginning. I'll hit save right here. And for the most part, we have ran through all of our drop downs right here. But let's take a look on the right hand side here too, because it looks like Commands created or updated a new section here. It's the audience definition. Gauge how many people you will reach based off of your Facebook selection. So based off of my selections right here, I have a potential reach of you know, a little bit more on the broad side than I would on the specific side. So my potential reach could be, you know, 1.1 million people. As we are going through here, I'm not going to publish the campaign just because I did not set up that payment method, but I will save this draft right here. And when you save a draft or when you publish the campaign, you should be brought to this page right here. And you can also find this page by going to your campaigns, and it should be right next to your campaign dashboard right here. Now, as you see right here, I do have quite a bit, so apologies. I'll clean this up for next time. But what we have is our title of our ad, where it's being run at, the preview of that image that we have selected for that ad. I did save it as a draft, so it is in draft status right here. And also your duration as well. So apologies for that pause here. So what does it affect if you spend more or less money per day, and how much does is the paid ad? So first of all, the paid ad is going to be really dependent on what you want it to be. So just like I said previously, I didn't feel comfortable with $30 for 6 days, so I decided to narrow it down to $15 for the 6 days, which equaled out to $2.50 per day per that channel. So what it does when you like add more budget to your ad, it should affect like your potential reach as well as your activity on that ad, how long it stays active, visible on your Facebook. So exposure wise, I would say that would probably be the biggest indicator for your channel per day. Think very similar to the way that radio works, right? Radio works for ad space, and it's usually 30-second ad space once, within a specific hour ad space. And I believe it's going to be about the same when it comes to this right here. So how long is your ad going to be seen throughout the day, throughout this reach right here? Absolutely. And then so that's a great segue into our duration right here. So I'm glad we kind of paused right there. We next have our duration. So we say that we set it up for 6 days. So, and it's going to start tomorrow because it has that 24-hour review time. And then it will end on the 2nd. We have these 3 additional sections here, which I'll get to here in a second. You have our spend right here. So what's our total spend? I narrowed it down to $10, and this will show you how much out of the $10 is being spent every time you kind of come back and periodically check on this. Last but not least, you do have your goal, so you can kind of see at a glance what this ad is kind of doing. This is an event awareness. This is an other right here, so we can really kind of see what type of ads we're running. Now, say for example, you publish a social media ad and you notice that there was a mistake and you need to cancel or pause that social media ad. The best way that I can explain this is if you pause a social media ad, which you can do by clicking these 3 dots, instead of edit, it should say pause. When you pause a social media ad, it still has to run through that allotted time, the quote unquote 6 days or however many days that you've added it, before it becomes removed and you get your spend back. Okay. So just keep that in mind. When you cancel or pause on a social media ad, it's essentially removed from Facebook, but just hidden. And then it still has to run that amount of days before it's like done. And then you get your credits back. Another thing to keep in mind as well is if you paused a social media ad, I would suggest duplicating and recreating. So this will help you be able to kind of not have any complications with removing the ad from the beginning on Facebook. And just creating a brand new fresh ad from start. I hope that makes sense. Feel free to give me any questions that you guys have. But yeah, so really, if you pause an ad, wait for the allotted time, you'll get your credits back. If you wanted to pause and then start your ad again, don't use the same ad. Pause and recreate and duplicate that ad. So you have a few more sections up top here. You have this bar up top here that kind of just gives you at a glance what things are going on. So if you have 4 or 5 different ads running at the same time, you can just look up here and it should say within the past 30 days, these are how many ads that went out. These are how many impressions that we got off of them. These are how many leads that came in based off of the ads that we sent out. And this is how much money that we've spent in total. Now you also have the Cpm, Cpc, and Cpl. So Cpm is clicks per million. Cpl is cost per click. And then your Cplc is cost per lead click. So as we are looking at this right here, we have a little eyeball right next to our goal, which really kind of gives you a definition on what all of these are. So if you're kind of lost and you said, hey, I just don't know what a lot of these titles are and what they kind of mean, you have that eye with a circle around it that is really a great information booklet for you. So as you see right here, a CPM, cost per 1,000 impressions. So how it's used, CPM is a common metric used by an online advertising industry to gauge the cost effectiveness of an advertising campaign. So now you can see the cost effectiveness. You can see the clicks, right? How the clicks are calculated. you have all of these additional pieces of info right here too, which is pretty handy. Gosh, as we go over here, you can also see all channels selected. So you can see if you just wanted to organize based off of, say, just your Facebook or just your Instagram, you can check or uncheck these right here, which should end up showing you. There we go. You know, what is available on other kind of platforms. So again, since most of mine are on Facebook, you see a couple Instagrams right here that, again, I can organize that way. You also have one section right here, which is where to find your social media ads. So you have active, your drafts, your past posts, any kind of drafts that you've archived, and so on. Now, I know we ran on 2 extra minutes. Do you have any questions at all on our Facebook ads? All right. Thank you so much for spending your time with me here today. My name is Morgan Heitzma with Scott Leroy Marketing. This video is recorded and will be processed later today and added onto our YouTube page. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to reach out to us at support@scottleroymarketing.com. We'd love to hear from you. Thank you and have a fantastic rest of your day.